Someone ever told me that Bible study is more about asking better, deeper questions than it is about having all the answers. Okay? Doesn't mean we won't have answers, but let me show you what I mean. We're going to ask questions about Matthew chapter 11, verse 7. As they went away, who are they? The disciples of John the Baptist. Jesus began to speak to the crowds. Who are the crowds? Where are they from? Who's present? And he begins talking about John, and I might want to ask why. Why is John the Baptist coming up in this section after Jesus sends the disciples out to prepare the cities for his arrival? What did you go out into the wilderness to see? And I go, oh, interesting. That's so weird that Jesus is addressing their expectations, what they thought they would go and see when they went into the wilderness where John was baptizing. Why does he address their expectations and what they thought about John? And then he says, did you expect to see a reed shaken by the wind? And I might want to go, well, what the heck is a reed shaken by the wind? What is the point being made by this image? What does it emphasize? All right, what's the main point Jesus is making by comparing John's ministry to a reed shaken by the wind? I think he's essentially saying, hey, John was no coward. He wasn't swayed by the opinions of man. He didn't ebb and flow with what people thought. He just was who he was. He preached what he preached, and his ministry didn't change, right? He didn't change with people's based on people's opinions and who was around that was of noteworthy status. He was consistent, and he was doing what God told him to do. What then did you go out to see? Like, if it wasn't a reed shaken by the wind, like a coward whose doctrine changes with people and depending on who's around, what did you go out to see? A man dressed in soft clothing? And I go, why the emphasis, or why the repetition, the repeating idea rather, of seeing? Right? And if you go back a little bit, just a few verses earlier, Jesus tells John's disciples, hey, go and tell John what you hear and what you see. The blind, yeah, they see. The deaf, they hear. And now he's addressing what the crowds expected to see when they saw John and heard the rumors and heard about this crazy guy living off locusts and wild honey in the wilderness of Judea. Did you expect to see a man dressed in soft clothing? Like a soft guy in, luxury, and he's royal and comfortable. And what did you expect? John the Baptist is the opposite of this. He's rugged and rough, and he's aggressive in his preaching. He'll call you brood of vipers if that's what you are. Behold, those who wear soft clothing are in king's houses. So it's interesting that the two images Jesus uses to kind of correct any misunderstandings about John, or to say, hey, this is what you didn't expect John to be. The two images are a reed and kind of this like royal kind of soft individual living in luxury. What do these two images have in common? What's the point being made? What does this emphasize about John's ministry?